I thought I'd challenge you to a Holmgang.
It is Saturday morning, therefore you know what it is. It is Holmgang time. My name is Matthew Kadish, producer of the Salty Nerd podcast. And for those of you who are just joining us, Holmgang is the Salty Nerd podcast chill stream, and it's all about the interaction with the chat. So any topic is on the table if you guys want to hop in the chat and ask questions, make comments. Like we're going to be featuring comments from the chat as we go along, and just kind of figuring out what we're going to be talking about as we do it. And today we have with us, as always, is Matt Vader 74. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm very tired.
You're very low energy today. You're bringing me down. You are bringing me down because you're Mr. Hi, everybody. It's Matthew Kadish here, producer of the show. We don't know what we're talking about,
okay.
but
Well, you know who else can bring up the energy of the show is our other guest, Dork Knight himself, Danny.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
So, the way that Holmgang works is like there is no structure and the rules don't matter, so we can pretty much talk about whatever we want, and that's just the way Vader likes it. What's going on, guys?
I don't like structure.
You don't like structure.
Structure sucks. I like going in by the seat of your ass and not knowing where you're going to end up, but it's way more fun that way. Just put me on a boat in the middle of the ocean and see where the wind blows us,
So I think the big news that's coming out this morning is that John Bernthal, who played the Punisher in the Netflix series, is getting his own official MCU show as the Punisher on Disney Plus.
Cool.
And in addition to that, there's also rumors flying around right now that the Daredevil, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, is also going to be officially in the MCU and getting his own Daredevil show on Disney Plus. What do you guys think of that?
Arguably the best Marvel production out there. Those Daredevil shows on Netflix, they were great.
Yeah, they were
really, really good.
Best of the bunch.
Yeah. Hopefully, if they bring it back, they bring back the people that created that and wrote it and directed it and starred in it and all that stuff, because they need to keep that vibe going.
It'd be cool if they could continue some of the storylines they set up there, but my guess is that they have to separate it.
Sorry.
It's okay. I know how much you like to watch yourself.
Yeah.
It's
trying to get the chat. I was trying to actually pull up the chat.
Yeah, right on. I don't know if they can actually carry on the stuff that Netflix did, because Netflix basically owns those shows. And it took them so long because there was like a 2-year or 3-year non-compete clause where after those shows were canceled, Marvel couldn't do anything with those characters. And that has obviously, gone away by now. But it should be interesting to see what they do with these characters and if they're going to show up in the movies. I know that Daredevil has been rumored to show up in the next Spider-Man movie as Peter Parker's lawyer, which is something from the comic books.
Speaking of Spider-Man, you guys see Venom Let There Be Carnage yet?
No, I've not seen it. Some of us work for a living, Danny.
Well, I saw it Thursday night, and the after credit scene.
Don't spoil.
I'm not going to spoil anything.
Don't do anything.
Mid-credit. There's not an after credit scene. I'm sorry. There's a mid-credit scene. There's not two. There's just the one, and that alone was worth the price of admission.
I'm really glad that they're focusing more on the mid-credit stuff, because having to wait until the very end of the credits has always been kind of like tough, especially if you have to go to the bathroom.
Nobody wants to do it. Well, now I figured out what was the last movie I went and saw that had an end credit. What was the movie just came out recently?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. I actually went to the bathroom after the credits started and came back and watched the credit scene after that with about 6 other people in the hallway, because we all did that.
Joker says, not a popular opinion, but I really enjoyed season 1 and season 3 of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I can't watch that show. It's
Jessica
terrible.
Jones was awful. I don't know. I don't know how you like that.
I didn't even bother watching season 3.
Yeah.
So Honestly, I can't even remember if I saw season 2. I know I watched season 1.
Was there a season 3 of Jessica? I thought there were only 2.
I think there was only 2, but I'm not
Okay.
sure. Don't quote me on that, because I couldn't get into that character at all. That was the thing about the Daredevil shows, was they were really hit and miss. The Daredevil himself was great.
I think the only Netflix show that made it to season 3 was Daredevil.
Yeah.
Before it got canceled.
Yeah.
I think everything else got canceled after 2.
Yeah, I met Charlie Cox at one of the conventions back when I was with Critical Care, and he was a really cool guy. In person. Anyway. So.
Do you remember him from Boardwalk Empire? He was like
I never watched Boardwalk Empire.
He was a very Irish gangster in Boardwalk Empire. And it was kind of funny when they cast him. I was like, the Irish gangster from Boardwalk Empire? Well, that's an interesting take, and he killed it. He was great. I think that they should cast Charlie Cox in C for something. He's just like typecast as a blind guy.
So there was a season 3 apparently
of Jessica Jones.
I guess so. I'm looking at the Wikipedia. Yeah, 13 episodes in season 3.
Really?
June 14th, 2019 started.
Does it say like what the plot line was? Because I'm trying to remember if I watched it.
No.
See, Jessica Jones was so bad that I just,
kind of gave up on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think after the first season, I was so disappointed with it that, I remember watching the second season, but I don't remember liking it very much.
Yeah.
And,
I
just kind of like forgot about it, I guess.
All of those shows, they were also different stylistically, and they were all supposed to be the same, part of town, basically, right? That it just it threw me a little bit. Like the Power Man stuff was just such a completely type of different show from Daredevil. And then what was the Kung Fu guy? What was his name?
Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist. I actually kind of enjoyed that show. Parts of it, and I think everybody like universally pans it as the worst of the group, but it got super weird at the end there too. But
I tried watching the second season of that. Yeah. I couldn't get like more than 2 or 3 episodes in. Yeah,
it was confusing. You're right, Joker. It was confusing, but Daredevil though was awesome, and Punisher wasn't bad either. So it'll be interesting to see.
I liked Luke Cage. That was a good one.
No, see, I didn't really like Luke Cage. That's the one I didn't like.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia here, and I think I do remember season 3, because season 2 was all about Jessica Jones's mother. She was like the bad guy.
Oh, okay. I definitely didn't see season 2 or 3. I stopped after season 1.
And then season 3 was about Trish becoming Hellcat, I think. I don't know. Like, it was such a dumb show. Kind of blocked most of it out. The Luke Cage show, I've been wanting to do a deep dive, bad writing, episode by episode take on that Luke Cage show, because it's so bad that you could make a case study in how bad. Like, it's so bad that towards the end of the first season, they take time to point out all the bad stuff that they're doing and try to gaslight it, just to kind of like go over, kind of smooth it over the fact that it's so bad. But the thing about Nick Cage, or I should say Luke Cage, that always got me was that in the second season early on, they did this thing where he becomes someone's bodyguard. And all of a sudden, the show got good for like 2 episodes where like people were trying to kill this guy that Luke Cage was trying to protect. And I was like, why isn't this like the show? If you have someone who's indestructible, you have to create something to bring up the stakes. And so if he had to protect people and those people were always in danger, that would have given the show so much more drama and suspense and stuff like that. And they did it for like 2 episodes, and then they're like, screw it, we're going to go back to doing the stupid stuff.
That sounds like something you could like break down on your bad writing show, the Daredevil universe on Netflix.
Just said that.
He literally just said that.
Yeah.
Wow, I do that all the time. I'm getting old, guys. I'm sorry.
No, Vader he's gotten used to tuning me out when I start talking.
No, I don't tune you out.
So
not on purpose.
You guys, I already mentioned Venom. You guys haven't seen it. You guys watch anything new this week, or anything eventful happens to say, guys, on Monday? Or?
Yeah, we watched. I should say I watched a lot of stuff, but Andre Enrique says the best Punisher is Dolph Lundgren. I would have to agree with that. You can't get much better than Dolph Lundgren.
I'd have to go rewatch that. It's been a long time.
Dude, the thing that bummed me out the most about that version of Punisher is he didn't once have a skull on his shirt. He just had the knife with the skulls on it. That was it. I was like,
So Joker says Iron Fist wasn't very good. Luke Cage was cliche.
Agreed.
I'm actually surprised they just didn't team those two guys up like right away, because in the comic books they're like the
heroes for hire, right?
Yeah.
In the comics. Yeah.
Art to the Icky says Rosario Dawson was the night nurse, which if you Google brings up an entirely different kind of show. Guess we should try to Google that sometime.
Yeah.
Punisher was clearly the second best Netflix Marvel show. Daredevil indeed was the best start to finish.
Yep.
Punisher was so good.
Completely
man.
agree. Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't remember what
the
episode
first season
it was.
anyway.
So the first season was good. I remember the second season. I don't honestly remember.
I don't think I
if
watched.
finished it.
I don't.
The
I don't think I
second
watched the
season,
second season.
Second season got too far into like PTSD and like
Yeah.
they were trying to push the social message instead of like, hey,
Damn.
just entertain us, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't. Wow. Yeah, I didn't watch the second season. There was this one.
Defenders was a big letdown too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
There
what
was
was
that
that's
one
the-
episode where he kills. It was toward the end where he just like kills everybody in that.
Well, that's every
bunker.
Punisher season. He just kills everybody. The best Punisher scene though was in Daredevil season 2 when he's in jail. And
Mhm.
They try to kill him, and he just takes out every single one of the guys who's like trying to take him down.
Yeah.
Yep. I kind of want to go do a rewatch now, but I can't because I got too much other stuff I have to watch.
Is that orange drink from Kate?
No. A Boom Boom Lemon. No.
Boom Boom Lemon.
So I did watch an interesting movie last night. So Jude and Rhett went to the hockey game last night. The Golden
Oh,
Knights
I was
game.
at the hockey game too. Oh wow.
Cool. And while I was home alone babysitting the dogs, I had rented a couple of movies at the beginning of September because I was going to go on a flight and I wanted stuff to watch. And one of the movies I hadn't gotten to that was about to expire on my rental was Wrath of Man, the new Guy Ritchie movie with Jason Statham. And I have to say, that's probably the best Guy Ritchie movie I've seen in a long time. I did not like The Gentleman. And I mean, I thought King Arthur was an abomination. I liked the Sherlock Holmes movies, but this movie, it was just like a straight up crime / revenge tale. And
I've been really wanting to watch it. Yeah.
it wasn't flashy. It wasn't like the typical flashy Guy Ritchie style movie. It was very kind of subdued and straightforward, and in a ways like not very like creative, but it was really fucking good. It was just like
It's about him avenging the death of his son, right? If I remember.
Yeah,
Which movie,
yeah.
Matt?
It's called Wrath of Man. We did a
Wrath of
trailer
Man.
reaction for it later, and you were like, "Oh, he's not a robot. Screw this movie."
remember.
But
That sounds like something I would say.
but it's basically Jason Statham. He plays like this
Oh, okay.
crime boss whose son gets killed during an armed car robbery, and so he goes undercover as a armored car, I guess a guard is what you call it, to try to find out who was behind this robbery. And it's kind of a non-linear story. It starts off very typical, and then it like in the middle of the movie it flashes back and it shows you what happened leading up to all the events at the beginning of the movie. And then in the third act it moves over to the people who were behind the heist, and you kind of get to know those people and leading up to the final showdown between all the different characters. And it was a really good movie. I was surprised about how much I liked it.
What streaming service is that on? Because I really do want to see that.
I just rented it on Amazon.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, it's a new release, so it's probably on all.
Have you seen that one with Frank
want-
Grillo? That's really where he dies every day. I forget the name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that was
Boss Level.
Boss. That movie was so good. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
we actually
I smell muffins.
we reviewed that for the podcast, so it's on our channel if anyone wants to watch that. But that was an excellent movie. That's a Hulu original,
Yeah.
and it's basically Groundhog's Day, but an action version of it, where
Yeah.
Frank Grillo's character, every day he wakes up and someone's trying to kill him, and he keeps dying and then like waking up at that same moment, and he has to figure out who's behind it. And every time he does, he starts getting to like the next level, and eventually
Yeah.
the
It
boss level.
was good. It was a good flick.
I had a thought, but I lost it. So, yeah. My bad.
Joker says, early in Daredevil season 2, the rooftop debate with Daredevil and Punisher over vigilante justice was great. That was a good.
Yes.
You know what? One of the things that made Daredevil a much better show than all the other ones is that instead of focusing on social justice, they actually focused on like some actual like themes that were relevant to the superhero world. And part of that was like, where do you draw the line as a masked vigilante? Do you kill people, or do you just allow the broken system of justice to run its course?
I really enjoyed that Daredevil show because it didn't get social justice preachy. You're right, but it was edgy enough to where it kept you engaged, and it was, to me, it was dark and it was very adult and kind of R-rated, and I just appreciated that they weren't pulling any punches.
It was easily the best of those.
Oh,
Netflix.
by far.
Yeah.
And God, my brain. I got to drink more coffee. The actor that played Kingpin,
Vincent
D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Jinx.
My God, he just absolutely he deserved awards. He should have won awards if he didn't win awards for his portrayal of Kingpin, because he was awesome. And I think
or go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done. I just was saying I'm just kind of gushing over the show because I really want to go turn it back on right now and start watching it.
Speaking of awards, I feel like Elizabeth Olsen was robbed not getting, winning for WandaVision. I really, really loved her performance in that show.
Dude, WandaVision sucked. Next topic.
Oh God.
The first season of Daredevil, the character of Kingpin was really interesting, but I felt like it wasn't until the third season that Kingpin really kind of was awesome, because they had that whole redemption arc where he comes out and the public is all of a sudden on his side after all these terrible things that he's done. And
oh my God, I got to watch. I haven't watched season 3. So.
I mean, Bullseye was a part of that season, and it was like
who played Bullseye in the show?
Just some guy, I forget
his name.
Okay, but like they never straight up called him Bullseye, but it was Bullseye. But the final confrontation between Kingpin and Daredevil in season 3 was so good.
Epic. It was epic.
And I was pissed when I heard that was like the final season, because I was like, oh man, they set up so much awesome stuff for season 4. Oh, it would have been so good.
Which makes me wonder what they can do with Disney Plus, the Disney Plus show. I don't know if Disney Plus will go as dark with this show, and it needs to be that dark.
Disney is they're starting to roll out this other channel on Disney Plus called Stars. STARS, and that's supposed to be for more adult fare. So like you can like separate.
Not to be confused with Stars with a Z. That's a terrible name. Why would they do that? That's
weird. It's just a channel on Disney Plus. It's not an actual like network or anything like that. Okay. But the theory is that they might take these former Netflix shows and migrate them over to that to get people watching. So
yeah. Well, I mean, good Lord, man, if you guys have been watching What If, for all those people who said they weren't going to do rated R stuff on Disney Plus, I don't know how they get away. Like people getting cut in half. I mean, like 2 different episodes now. People getting cut in half.
It's cartoon.
Oh, okay. Still, people are getting cut in half. Like it's crazy. Vertically, horizontally.
I actually need to get caught up on What If.
Yeah, the last one I saw was the Doctor Strange one.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the last one I saw was the zombie one. So.
Oh wow! Yeah, you guys got it. So you can binge it. Next week's the final episode. It's so the episode from the other day was part 1 of the finale. It's a 2-part finale.
I never cared about What If. I remember when they announced that was one of the series they were doing. I was just like, eh.
Dude, it's I don't know. I mean,
are you?
I've watched 4 episodes of it. It's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I just like it's not something that I'm like, oh, I have to watch What If. Oh, next episode of What If is coming out. Oh, I gotta see that.
See, no, I'm totally opposite. Every Tuesday at midnight, I'm watching it. It's like
I have a feeling they're going to be incorporating a lot of the What If stuff into the multiverse of madness things, because every What If episode is a different multiverse. It's in a different
and the last one is
so
crazy. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the title is fine. What If Ultron Won?
It's great.
It was like, oh wow.
Don't get me wrong, I love the concept of the show. It's really cool. I don't particularly enjoy the animation style, but that's just a personal choice.
Yeah,
but I get used to it. It's interesting. I don't know. It's just it's a cool show. It's a cool show. I just I'm having a hard time with any of the MCU stuff right now. It's all very. I feel like I kind of peaked with the MCU already, and it just keeps on going. Whether and I don't want it to.
I know it's not exactly. Or go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was going to say, I know it's not exactly MCU, but Venom was a lot funnier than I expected it to be. Like on purpose. Like it was a lot of.
I like how you had to qualify on purpose.
On purpose. Yeah. No, because sometimes shit's funny and it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it was really because, he's fighting with himself basically the whole movie. Like they're bickering like an old married couple the whole movie. And it was just, I don't know. I thought it was hilarious.
No, I enjoyed the dynamic between Venom and Mad Max.
Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock in the first movie. I thought the first movie was kind of goofy and weird. And my whole thing about Venom is it's just not the same Venom from the comic books. My Venom came from the Beyonder in the Secret Wars.
The worst part is that it's totally divorced from Spider-Man in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, I know.
I know that they're trying to bridge that gap, but I mean, when it first came out, it's just like, dude, why isn't this part of Spider-Man's thing?
Yeah.
Right. And I just don't know. It's like, I guess they have to do a Beyonder movie, right? They need to have a Secret Wars in the MCU to do it correctly.
Is that Q on your hat?
Yeah.
Oh, it is Q. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I got when we were at the convention, there was this booth next to us that had all these stupid little three pins for $5 box, and I just went over there and grabbed a few of them every day and stuck them on, and I got my Nerdrotic pin right here. And I'm going to be selling space on my hat for advertising.
Oh, like a NASCAR. Nice.
Yeah, someone can sponsor Vader.
That's right.
Get right on his hat.
Sorry, I don't mean to be. Ooh, look, a squirrel. But the Q thing made me think. Like, I'm really bummed about Picard. Like, why would Q even mess with Android Picard?
Danny's all segue. Use the hat for a segue.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, because if they didn't bring Q back, no one else would care.
Yeah,
it's just like what can we destroy that people love?
I always thought Q should have been in one of the next gen movies. I always thought that was a huge missed opportunity. But
and every other actual Star Trek fan in the world. That's right.
So Jude and I have been watching a lot of new shows lately that have been very interesting. There was a new show on Peacock that just premiered called The Lost Symbol, and it's based off of Dan Brown's novel. So it's very, what do you call it? Da Vinci Code-esque.
Yeah.
It's about.
I love those Dan Brown books, man.
Yeah, and it's a series, so they really get to drag out all the puzzles and the mysteries and stuff like that.
Who's playing Langdon in it?
Just some guy.
Oh, nobody.
Like you might recognize his face because he's been in a few things, but like he's not someone who's big. But the show so far is pretty interesting. About 3 episodes in, it's not too bad.
What's it called?
It's called The Lost Symbol.
All right, I'm putting it on the list.
What service is that on?
That's on Peacock.
Oh shit, Peacock. All right.
Yeah,
another one I got to pay for. Good Lord.
Yeah, it's NBC. Like, there's not a whole lot on there that we watch, but Jude subscribes to it because they have Yellowstone on there.
Oh, wait a second. I have that because of wrestling. So never mind.
It's WWE Network.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So The Lost Symbol, it just premiered. It's one of Peacock's original series. There's another series on there called Brave New World, starring the young Han Solo guy.
Oh, okay.
Which actually, like, I watched the whole thing. It actually wasn't too bad. It was pretty enjoyable.
You know what I watched?
Aaron Wright?
Something like that.
Yeah. I can't remember. I must have blocked his name out of my head. Yeah. He's got a really weird name.
Yeah. So I just watched Squid Game on Netflix.
I've been hearing about that.
That is definitely one that is on my list.
So it was just, I was like on Netflix and it happened to be trending #1. I was like, that last show that Vader, you had me from Korea that you had me watch, I liked a lot. The space,
which one?
Space Sweepers, I think it was called.
The movie. Yeah.
Korean one. So yeah. So this is it's a Korean series, and I was like, well, I'll try it. Holy shit, man! That first episode, like, if you like that first episode, buckle in and just binge the whole.
Yeah,
thing.
my boss at work last night, he goes, "Hey man, have you guys seen this this stupid new show on Netflix. It's called Squid Games or something like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen it, or I haven't seen it yet, but it's on. I want to check it out. And he's like, oh, it sucks. Don't even bother with it. And I'm like,
Wow.
huh?
See, you're either gonna love it or hate it.
Then he proceeded to tell us about the entire episode, like scene for scene breakdown, like Kadish does almost on our shows. And he got done, and I told him, I go, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what your deal is, but that sounds like an amazing show to me.
Dude, it is really effing good. The only thing, and I can't wait till you guys watch it because I'd like to get Kadish's take. The last episode kind of bummed me out. Yeah. I loved everything except for, it was just because it was anticlimactic. I mean, like the whole thing ends in like the first 15 minutes of the final episode, and then it's like 45 minutes of just kind of like tying up, like just, I don't know. I'd like to get Kadish's opinion on it. It just seemed like it was just real slow, and it's just like I said, anticlimactic. But other than that, I loved it.
Speaking of my opinion, Joker says Boondock Saints is amazing. Second, All Saints Day suck balls. I would actually argue that Boondock Saints is a terrible movie. And in fact, we actually reviewed that movie, Vader. Didn't we have like one where like Alex picks the movies, and that was one of his all-time favorites?
that was the one with the dude from Walking Dead in it.
Boston, it was young Indiana Jones and Daryl.
Yeah, I actually
Daryl.
I think now I remember. I think Alex was just like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever made," blah blah blah, and we were like, "Well, it's no Scorsese movie or something like that," and we kind of like crapped in his bowl of Wheaties a little bit, and
especially me, because I really hate that movie.
I don't remember what my score was, but I don't remember.
Cult classic movies of all time: Tomb Raider, Office Space, and Boondock Saints. So Alex picked all three of those movies.
Yeah,
that's a random combination of movies.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when we let Alex pick.
yeah. So like he basically picked like three of his all-time favorite films. Office Space being the big one, but the original Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie, and then the Boondock Saints. And I think I crushed his soul a little bit in that review because I just went through like step by step why Boondock Saints is a terrible movie.
Yeah.
When have you not crushed someone's soul, Kadish?
Well, we crushed his soul back. I talk a lot of shit about your boyfriend Bruce Campbell a couple weeks ago.
Hey man,
I was trying to like be nice, and I finally just like
you didn't crush my soul, Vader. You just revealed how terrible your tastes are. Yeah. Like you were in the minority in terms of like Bruce Campbell.
Well, we need to watch some good Bruce Campbell movies, like the 3 Evil Dead movies that he made, which basically are the only good movies he's ever made. So
give me some sugar, baby.
So yeah, we'll have some fun with Bruce Campbell someday. He's in town right now, or is it next weekend for the some kind of like little horror convention going on?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
There's Unicon is going
Unicon's going on right now.
Yeah,
I think it's next weekend.
Yeah, in my infinite wisdom, I was the creative director for Unicon when it first launched, and because of COVID, I was like, because I was getting paid a percentage, and I was like, 10% of nothing is nothing, you know what I mean? So, and I was like, this isn't going to happen, and I bet you they're crushing it this weekend. I'm going to kick myself for that. But
unless you're a Biden economic advisor, then 3.2 trillion is nothing.
Yeah. Whoa, politics, man. Come on. No, so Joker voice agrees with me on this one. So I'm glad I have at least one friend in the world with my Bruce Campbell take. Yeah, Unicon is going on right now. We need to start a street team. We need to have a presence at these things, even though we have to work. So
they are still using the logo I made though. So
oh yeah, well that's cool.
Yeah, the Unicon logo.
Yeah, they were really pushing it hard on the news yesterday morning. They were interviewing people from there, and there was like a Heath Slater and Rhino were there doing wrestling stuff, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. So yeah. I got a cough. Hold on.
So I've been watching this other show on HBO Max called Warrior, and it's a show from Jonathan Tropper, who is the new showrunner on C. So we've been having a lot of fun with our C episodes, and so I think Alex and me and Jude decided to check out his other shows. I had watched Banshee on HBO Max, or I should say Cinemax, a long time ago. That was his first show, and then he's doing this one called Warrior, which is based on the writings of Bruce Lee, And it takes place in like the 1800s San Francisco, and it's about the struggle between Chinese immigrants and the Irish in that town. And it's really freaking good so far. The martial arts are on point. The characters are all really interesting. It's got that whole like kind of Game of Thrones-y political maneuvering going on, but between Chinese Tongs, which are like the triad gangs, and the police and the Irish gangs and the political machines within the city. It's a really freaking good show so far. So we're really enjoying that as well.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll be checking it out as well.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and we've got a big month lined up for us. I think the end of this month we're doing a Resident Evil episode, where we're watching the first 3 Resident Evil movies.
Yep.
Which I am not looking forward to because I freaking hate those films.
That's a guilty pleasure of mine. I have them all on Blu-ray.
Yeah, mine too.
I hate Paul W.S. Anderson. I think he's the most talentless hack ever to grace Hollywood.
You probably had like a negative run-in with him at Spago or something, right? On a lunch break or something.
Right. Tell us how
No,
you
he's just made terrible movies. Vader, the last one of his that we watched was the Monster Hunter movie.
Terrible. Awful.
And then before that, it was the first Mortal Kombat film, which I think could be argued as his only good movie. It's just he's so terrible.
He did the original Mortal Kombat from the 90s?
He did, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. And then he went and ruined Resident Evil.
That's going to be a fun week. Yeah. There's 1 week I'm going to be gone. I'm not sure which one it is.
I have surgery on the 7th. I'm getting my left ACL repaired, so I'm going to be on the shelf. And then I found out at my pre-op appointment the other day, I have 6 weeks of physical therapy to look forward to after that.
So, fun.
Yeah.
So Andre Enrico says, Warrior fights are good, but the Strike Back series is way better. Actually, having watched the first, 3 or 4 seasons of Strike Back myself, I'd have to disagree with that. I didn't like Strike Back all that much. It got kind of repetitive and boring. And the first season's basically not connected to the rest of the seasons.
I don't know what Strike Back is.
It was a Cinemax original series. It started off as a BBC production about counter-terrorist squad. I think it's based off of a book, actually.
You said Cinemax?
Yeah.
Is that still around?
Yeah, it's still around. But it was a Cinemax original series. This is going back years ago. And they after the BBC version, originally it had the guy who starred in The Walking Dead as the sheriff guy. You know who I'm talking about?
Rick Grimes, the guy who played
the guy who played Rick Grimes. Yeah.
Okay.
So it had him in it, and for 1 season, and then it kind of switched gears for a couple more seasons. I think that they might have continued with it, and I'm behind on the newest one, but I would have to disagree with that. I think Strike Back was kind of formulaic and boring, and I didn't much care for it. But that's just me.
So Vader, because I went and saw Venom, and then I went to the hockey game. So I am not all caught up for once on wrestling. Did you get to watch anything last night?
I watched the Brian
Danielson.
Yeah, versus one of the
Nick Jackson or Matt.
One of the Jackson brothers.
Don't spoil it. I'm going to watch it after we're done.
I've been watching a lot more AEW. We're going to get into wrestling here, man. So here's my problem with AEW, and don't get me wrong, because I really enjoy it. It's the far superior product right now.
Okay? Oh yeah.
I feel like all of their wrestlers are really small.
Not all of them. You got Brian Cage. You got Powerhouse Hobbs.
You got everybody who's this big, and then you got guys that are this big. There's no middle of the road, normal size wrestlers in there. It's I look at guys like Darby Allin. He's tiny.
And Jungle Boy Jack Perry, he's tiny.
It's and I can't get into these wrestlers who are 5'6" and weigh 155 pounds. I did. Growing up watching wrestling, the wrestlers were always superheroes. The good guys were superheroes and they're super villains.
Yeah, but they were also roided out of their minds. And
okay, well, whatever. That's part of the job. I'm kind of like, I know AEW is the superior product right now, but I've always kind of agreed with Vince that his employees need to look like monster superheroes. So when I see guys like Darby Allin next to 70-year-old Sting, who's supposed to be mentoring him, right?
62. Flair 70.
Whatever. It looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. So what I'm seeing in AEW is you got old WWE guys who are trying to get their last hurrah in, because I'm sorry, Sting looks ridiculous right now. He needs to hang it up. And
yeah, he wrestled in a t-shirt last week.
It's awful. And Darby Allin or the Jackson brothers or even guys like Christian Cage.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
I'm not saying he's not doing a good job, but he's getting old, man. And
he's my age, dude. What the?
Well, for wrestlers, that's old.
Thanks.
It's just like the Jackson brothers. What are they called?
The Hardley Boys.
No, yeah, they're tiny, dude. They're tiny.
What are they? I stole that from Jim Cornette. What are what is their name? Jesus, I don't like them, so I don't.
So don't get me wrong. I'm really enjoying
the Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks. They're tiny little dudes. They're tiny little dudes. So when they come out and they do their little posing thing, I'm like, oh look, they look like they're in 10th grade to me, and and it bugs me a little bit, but. Don't get me wrong. AEW is the absolute far superior show right now.
Last 6 weeks in a row, they've had the #1 show on cable Wednesday night. So,
but what the show's gotten better since the guys that AEW or that WWE was using poorly have jumped ship.
Yeah,
and those were the same guys that made WWE good when they were there. Have come over and boosted their ratings up, like CM Punk. I loved him. I loved him when he was on WWE with his mic drops and his stuff, and that's what people want. So people aren't watching AEW because AEW is cool. They're watching AEW because they want to see the wrestlers that were on WWE be able to do their stuff again.
It's good. Yeah, but it's also like good storytelling, and it feels a little bit more real because wins and losses matter, and they have the you can't. That's why like Bryan Danielson couldn't come in, even though if it were WWE, he would have got a title shot on night one. But because it's AEW and they have a ranking, he was like, I just want to wrestle you. I don't care about the title. So, although I do want to. So Joker mentioned, I guess, the draft, because I didn't watch. I was at the hockey game.
I haven't. Yeah, I didn't watch.
Yeah, I don't know anything about but I also kind of don't give a shit because all they ever do is, like last year, they literally took all the storylines from SmackDown and moved them to Raw and vice versa. They it was stupid. So I don't know. Yes, Punk's commentary is on point. He's always really good. Yeah, he was really good commentating on Wednesday. Like I said, I haven't watched. I don't know what happened last night on Rampage. But
I look at guys like God, my brain. I'm so annoyed. Like if you Chris Jericho. Yeah. When we first started watching Chris Jericho, he was a cruiserweight.
Right.
Yeah. He's not a big dude compared to other wrestlers. Even now, he's put on some chunk and he's still
got the dad bod rocking right now.
He's got the dad bod, but he's still not a huge dude.
Right.
And he looks big compared to a lot of wrestlers in AEW.
I've still got my Jerichoholic shirt from college.
Cool. I love Chris Jericho.
Nice.
Man. He's one of my favorites.
And
he's always gotten on his attitude. He's always gotten on his attitude and his shtick. With you're on the list. And he's always changing. He's constantly changing his character, and that's what I like about Chris Jericho.
No, definitely.
And he looks big compared to a lot of these guys in AEW. Even the world champ right now.
Kenny Omega.
He's not a big toes. Dude. Yeah, he's not a big dude. Daniel Bryan's not a big dude. And, you watch them two together, they look good because they're the same size.
Yeah.
But Daniel Bryan's not a big dude either. So you're what if they put like The Rock or somebody in the ring with them and they would look terrible because it's just Yeah, so I don't know. It is what it is.
Kenny Omega, and this is just my opinion, is the most overrated wrestler on planet Earth. I really don't like him. I can't believe he was the number one wrestler for the PWI 500 or whatever it was. Like, I really can't stand him. I can't. The only reason he's got such a great spot is because he's the EVP at AEW.
Yeah.
It's like, anyway.
So,
yes, Joker. I like, Jericho's debut
awesome
in WWE was epic. And it was against The Rock, too.
Probably the best intro of all time, I think.
Yeah.
But then The Rock doesn't matter who you are, dude.
It doesn't matter.
It's like, oh, yeah. It was great.
I remember watching that. There was also a time where Jericho came out and beat Triple H. And I was like, oh my God, they're making Jericho the champion. And then they were like, oh, that didn't count.
Yeah. But we could go on for a long time on wrestling. I'm just getting back into it. I'm trying to squeeze in some wrestling at late at night when I get home from work, and I always fall asleep halfway through the match, and it just is what it is. So we need to go full time, so I can dedicate like a whole day to just wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I got
watch all the stuff in one day.
We had that really good meeting on Monday. I did get. I'm sorry I haven't got back to you, Kadish. I'm trying to get my taxes finished because my extension deadline's coming up in a couple weeks, and but I did get your email, and some exciting things are on the horizon for the Salty Nerd.
Cool. We'll take that off. Yeah.
Number one on our priority list right now is trying to get an actual studio to do all the recording and stuff in. So that would be nice if we could actually accomplish that.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
What's going on in the chat here? Talk about wrestling.
Wrestling talk.
Yeah.
Which I know Kadish loves. Hey, Joker, I don't know if you noticed, you're talking about Roman Reigns. I'm wearing my head of the table shirt today.
How many wrestling shirts do you own?
One for each day of the week.
Oh boy. I didn't know you were that hardcore, man. That's funny.
Well, I mean, I used to have I have a bunch of Deftones shirts, wrestling shirts, comic book shirts, and then stuff like that.
My t-shirt collection is growing as well.
Oh yeah,
the early 2000s called. They want their bands back. I like the Deftones. They were good.
Did you happen to go down to punk rock bowling last week?
No.
That kind of feels like that would be kind of your jam down there.
Yeah, was that at the Brooklyn Bowl?
Yeah. They took over Fremont Street.
Yeah, I did a few years ago. I went, and it was a lot of fun, but I just haven't been. I mean, good Lord, like I was talking to JJ the other day because of the missing print.
Yeah.
And
did you ever find that?
Nah, he's like, somebody must have stole it, so it's fine. I'm gonna take down those critical care, the 2 critical care prints, since I'm not affiliated with them anymore, and I'll just use one of those frames, and I'll take the one that was stolen is that one right there behind me, the Big Trouble in Lego China. So I'll just
you sell that as a print, right?
Yeah.
Let me just show it to us real quick. Maybe somebody will buy one. Because I don't remember what you're talking about. Let me see it.
Alrighty, so there you go. It's
oh, okay, I remember that one now. Yeah.
It's hard to, with all the glare,
Yeah. No, I get it. Dork Knight LV, guys, you can get a hold of him and check it out.
Yeah, got a lot of fun prints like that. That's a Star Wars He-Man mashup right there. I've got like a series of them. They're all all but this one at the moment. All my prints are can be seen at Grouchy John's Coffee Shop on Maryland and Wigwam in Las Vegas.
Cool. Right on.
The unofficial clubhouse.
But the point of that, but the point of that was I was talking to JJ, and he was like, "Man, I haven't seen you in like, almost 2 years." I was like, "COVID, man. Like this was my first time venturing out in forever, So." But no, I'm trying to slowly get back out there. I saw Shang-Chi was the first movie I'd seen in forever. Then I just saw Venom, so I'm feeling like going back out, venturing out into the world. So,
Danny, have you gotten a chance to watch Foundation at all?
No, because I still haven't pulled the trigger on buying Apple Plus or whatever it's called. So, but I will.
Do you have an Apple product that you need to upgrade?
I don't.
Go get an Apple Watch. You'll get a year for free.
No, I have a Pixel phone. If anything, I'll get a Google whenever Google comes out with their watch.
I bought earbuds, Apple earbuds, because I really like their design. I wonder if that gets me a free year.
Right. My kids all use Apple stuff, so maybe I can,
Oh yeah, you can piggyback off of them.
Yeah.
Andre Enrico says, I watched the review of Monsterverse and Greek mythology.
Is that our newest show that just came out?
I believe that is our newest show where we talk about all the raping that happened in Greek mythology.
Well, Jude did.
Yeah,
and I just sat there and was like, God, can we get off the R stuff? Jesus.
Joker.
Well, yes, Zeus was a horny dude. We understand this, So.
You'll have to send me a message, Joker, and elaborate on that. I don't know how to take that thing, but yeah, that.
Yeah. So I did get a kick out of the part where you said The Rock didn't get famous until Hercules. So that was funny.
That's not what I said. What I said was he was not a big box office draw before Hercules.
That's not true either, but that's okay.
It's on video, man. You can go back and watch it.
I love the rundown.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I know that The Rock was extremely popular, but he was not a box office draw in AAA terms until he started doing stuff like action movies again. Because for a while he was relegated to the Disney stuff where he was doing like Escape to Witch Mountain and all that.
Tooth Fairy or some shit like that.
Yeah, Tooth Fairy.
Yes.
Yeah. You just constantly mishear me.
I do. I mishear you all the time.
Oh yeah, and
you get this man some St. John's or Ginkgo below or whatever it is that helps your memory.
Remember 20 minutes ago when I said I've been wanting to talk about this on my live stream, and you're like, you should talk about that on your live stream.
Yeah.
Yes, the rundown. The rundown's a great movie, Joker. I wish they'd make a sequel.
Rundown is good.
I love that movie. It was so good.
that was kind of like the start of Rock's kind of.
Yeah, and it had that cool
thing.
At the beginning passing of the torch with Schwarzenegger. He's where they pass each other in that nightclub. It's like, what's he saying? I think it's like have fun or something like that.
It really wasn't until the Fast and Furious movies and his involvements in them where his star started to rise in Hollywood. And that's the point I was making that Vader completely missed.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, The Rock seems to be like, if there's a failing franchise, throw The Rock in it, whether it's G.I. Joe or the Fast and Furious or Jumanji. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Jumanji wasn't a failing franchise. What are you
fair enough.
I was going through The Rock's list of movies this morning, and it was like, they really are a lot of really terrible movies.
Yeah. Yeah, he was trying to do that whole thing that all wrestlers do where they're like, Hollywood's like, oh, well, you have a lot of kids in your audience, so you're just going to have to do kids movies. And he's like, okay.
I mean, I think
he was hilarious and Be Cool when he was that gay guy.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to wrestlers breaking into movies, The Rock has kind of written the book, and then now Batista's kind of coming in hot after him. And well, dude, Hulk Hogan made a lot of... He didn't even make a lot. He made a few really awful, terrible movies.
Suburban Commando is a classic.
Where he played Hulk Hogan in the movies. And
remember No Holds Barred with Tiny Zeus Lister?
Yeah, that was garbage. I'm telling you, Christopher Lloyd, Hulk Hogan, Suburban Commando, American classic.
It's like I'm always gonna love Hulk Hogan, but at the same time, I'm just What
about Rowdy Roddy Piper? You made
classic.
A couple.
They Live.
Right? Yeah, that was good. That's a cult classic though. Hulk Hogan hasn't made any movie like that.
No,
he hasn't.
Surf Ninjas or something.
No, in fact, I wouldn't even consider Hulk Hogan a breakout movie guy. He's just a wrestler who made a few movies. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't popular, but Hulk Hogan wrote the book. You can't get more popular than Hulk Hogan back in the day. You really can't. But when it comes to like legitimate actors, movie stars, you got The Rock, you got Batista now. I think John Cena is trying to follow the same.
You see that pattern. Vacation Friends movie he just did?
I have not, but
that was freaking hilarious, and it's really raunchy. It's like way raunchier than I expected it to be.
Roddy Piper did make They Live, and is that a good movie though, or is it just a cult classic movie that we all love?
I wouldn't call it good necessarily.
So
I'm actually surprised Chris Jericho never tried to make that leap.
Well, Chris Jericho's a rock star.
Well, I know he's a musician, but I'm surprised he never tried to make the leap to movies because he's got such a good presence and like he's very theatrical.
I think his passion is his heavy metal band Fozzy.
Yeah, Fozzy.
Yeah,
I mean, he did small bits like he was the KKK leader in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot or whatever with Kevin Smith. So these little things,
They got the chick what's the girl with the purple hair? She was in The Mandalorian.
Oh, Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks was in The Mandalorian. Yeah, you see these wrestlers pop up every once in a while here and there, and sometimes you don't even know it's a wrestler. So,
dude, Sasha Banks is so fine. Oh my!
You guys remember when the WWE tried to start their own movie studio?
Yeah. Don't they have like 10 Marine movies? Yeah, they still have. I think Marine 10 is about to come out.
Didn't they try to make a horror movie that had
with Kane?
Kane in it.
Yeah. It was terrible.
I haven't seen it.
It was terrible. Did you hear about? Speaking of this, on Netflix, there's a Choose Your Own Adventure Undertaker movie coming out for Halloween.
That sounds crazy.
It's got the New Day. There's literally 4 characters in it: the 3 members of New Day and the Undertaker. And the New Day are coming to his house for something, and it's a choose your own adventure. What was that one they did? Boulder something or Netflix has done one before.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. That one was pretty good.
Yeah, but my frustration with that one, I forget the name of it. But no matter what, you got the same ending. Because I redid that movie or whatever several times to pick the different options.
I don't think that's true.
And it always forced you into the same kind of ending. It seemed like
no, there were different endings. I think there were 3 different endings that you could unlock. You are right. Like there was one ending that you tended to get, but then there were 2 others that if you chose a specific path, you could.
I guess I haven't seen those other ones. I'll have to dive onto YouTube and see what those were because I remember felt like I was like, good Lord, which one now? I was trying to change all my options, like a Telltale game or something. But yeah, no, I'm not going to waste my time with that Undertaker thing on Netflix. It looks
how does a choose your own adventure movie work?
They give you little pot 4 different. So something happens.
Bandersnatch is what it's
Bandersnatch.
called.
There
Bandersnatch.
you go.
So basically at a certain point, the movie comes to a decision. And it gives you 2 options where you can use your remote control to click which one you want to see.
Yeah.
And then depending on which choice you make, there's a different part of the movie that you get to experience. And it was a really cool concept, and they haven't done anything with it since. But I really like the Bandersnatch.
Can you go back and change your mind?
No, you have to rewatch.
No, you have to rewatch the whole. Yeah, that's what I was. That's why I got so frustrated that I didn't see.
I must have rewatched that movie 10, 12 times because I wanted to go through all the different.
Yeah, no, same. But
options.
I never saw a different ending. That sucks. I didn't.
There were lots of different endings to it.
I was convinced it was it didn't matter.
But Vader, it's cool because it's about a video game developer, and the video game is called the Bandersnatch, and you start to see these parallels between the video game and real life, and all this creepy, weird stuff. There's murder and all types of weird stuff going on in it. But it was a very original movie. I think that, it's very hard to do those movies because you have to think through all the different options.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie.
What's going on in the chat? Anything good? Let me see here.
More wrestling talk.
Well, let me see. Joker says Batista got lucky getting in the MCU. Right out early out of the gate. It's probably true. But
well, actually, Batista had been doing small acting bits, kind of like how The Rock did it very early on. He showed up in Smallville in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think. So it wasn't just one day Batista is cast in a Marvel movie. It's he had been slowly building up his acting cred up to that point. And, eventually he just got a big break. But I don't like Batista as a person, but I think as an actor, he's very entertaining.
Well, qualified because I know for those of you who don't know, Kadish used to work in Hollywood. I don't know Batista, so what do you mean by like, you know?
Yeah,
like
I don't
as
know
a
Batista
person?
either. I just know that like every time I've heard him
He's just
speak as a human being, he's kind of a jackass. So
Oh, he is.
He's
Okay.
super woke. He's a super.
Oh,
woke.
is he really?
Oh yeah. It's really kind of off-putting. It's really off-putting because you look at this big giant monster of a man covered in tattoos and muscles, and it's like, God dang it! I want you on my team. Come on, man. Quit being that. Quit eating the freaking tofu, bro. Come on. So, but yeah, he's good head meat.
we call him Brainhead because
Yeah.
the top of his head's so wrinkled.
Yeah, right.
It looks like he's got like a big brain.
It's like a pug,
yeah,
like a dog or something.
Did you guys know John Cena writes children's books?
I
Stacey
did
Ballard.
not know that.
That's interesting. I'll have to look that up.
I know that Mick Foley wrote children's books.
That I know.
Mick Foley is actually a really good author.
Yeah,
I got his
autobiography is really
good. I
did.
Yeah, I've Have a Nice Day in the other room, and
I've actually read.
He autographed it and took photos with us. Like
Nice.
I took my son to meet him.
Do you guys know whatever happened to him? Like, is he still wrestling or?
He's actually he's presenting the title on some. It's called GW's, or I can't remember, some little indie promotion with like that does death matches and stuff, and they just announced that he's going to present their title at the next.
I'm actually surprised he's still alive or like able to walk.
You know what he does is he's a professional Santa Claus.
Is something he does.
Mick Foley is Santa, and he's like Keg said, he's doing fine, and it's wild.
I'm glad to hear he's doing fine because
he does a lot of stand up now.
When we say he's doing fine, he's waking up in the morning and he's taking a lot of painkillers and he's gimping along like an old man who's had every bone in his body broken, but he's still alive and he's happy and
he's got a drop dead gorgeous daughter, which is cool. Yeah. And
do you guys remember that documentary that kind of followed Mick Foley around, and there was like a scene in it where
Beyond the Mat?
Yeah, Beyond the Mat. He's in the ring. He gets hit in the face by like a folding chair, and it pans over to his daughter just screaming her head off in horror. And it was just like, because I remember when I was into wrestling, it was when I was in college, and that was kind of the height of the Stone Cold Rock Mick Foley feud era. And I was a big Mick Foley fan. I was like, this guy's awesome.
That was peak Attitude Era, man, and it was good. It was
Joker. We're, I guess I'm gonna have to come to Grouchy on Monday, and we're gonna have to talk. Rob RVD is actually a friend of mine, like in real life. So I don't know what you're getting at there. He's not terrible. He's a awesome human.
No, he said his stand up was terrible.
Oh, his stand up is terrible. Okay.
He says that Rob Van Dam tries stand up at
never
the
seen
Nerd Bar, and he's terrible at stand up apparently.
Oh well.
Danny just wants to fight everybody.
Yeah, Danny just wants to take it to the mat.
But
they have like an octagon ring at the Nerd Bar.
When people, I've gotten into many discussions about wrestling, and people go, "Oh, it's fake" and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, it's scripted, but you can't go up to somebody like Mick Foley and say that wrestling's fake when he's literally destroyed his entire body. Now, granted, Mick Foley's one of these guys. He has a extremely high threshold for pain. This is and he's admitted to it. You've seen it in his books and on his shows that's helped him be the crazy dude that he is. But you can't get thrown off an 18-foot Hell in a Cell, and finish the match and sit there and tell me that it's all fake and nuts. It's just not. It's just
not only did he finish the match, he came out later during the Steve Austin match.
I've watched that match so many times. That's just it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can't fake falling through a table.
See, that's the thing I like about watching wrestling. I know we're really wrestling centric today, but
the one week I didn't watch everything.
Yeah, well, I didn't either. But wrestling to me it's an art form almost. And I used to really keep up with the behind the scenes stuff. It's why I like shows like the Dark Side of the Ring and that kind of stuff. And there's a few really good websites out there that track the stuff that goes on in the back.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot of stuff about these
Wrestling
people.
Observer, what culture wrestling.
Yeah. And and when you learn about what's going on in the back, and how it translates to what's going on in the ring. It's fascinating, guys. It really is. And you're like, oh, that looked like it was real. And sometimes it is, you know, because these wrestlers, they, there's rules and you don't break those rules, man. And it's just, it's a weird, crazy fraternity that these guys have. And it's kind of fascinating if you really get into it.
Yeah. So, Keeley, okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I respectfully have to disagree. I think the very first one, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, is the best Hell in a Cell match ever. However, Undertaker versus Mankind is the most talked about, most remembered, because he goes off the top through a table and he goes through the top of the cage. You know, his tooth comes out, you know, through his nose, you know.
Oh,
so
that's wild. And that,
But as far as like quality of match and storytelling and everything, I really think that first one was better, just because the point of a Hell in a Cell is like if your story has progressed. That's why I hate that they have a freaking Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, because they just like, oh, here's a Hell in a Cell match. And like back in the day, it was like if you got to the Hell in a Cell, it's because you had Shawn Michaels kept getting disqualified, kept getting cheating, kept having DX run in, and you know what I mean. So you had to have this is
how you end this feud one way or another.
Exactly.
So Chris Jericho, I haven't listened to it for a long time, but if you really want to get into how the wrestling world works and stuff like that, Chris Jericho has an absolutely amazing podcast. I don't know if you've ever listened to it. I'd have to look up
Talk is Jericho. Yeah.
Talk is Jericho. And it's really good. It's really, really good. And like I said, I haven't listened to it for a while, but he has wrestlers on, he has people that book the shows on, and he has normal people on there too, but the wrestling episodes, which is most of them, are fascinating. And so check that out. There was one that I really remember where he had a Brody Lee on there. He was the guy who died about a year ago, and it was a really good episode because it was right after he had gotten let go by the WWE and he was waiting to come into AEW, which of course, he passed away and died shortly after that happened. But
the Wednesday show was was a tribute show to him. Yeah.
But Talk is Jericho is an absolutely incredible podcast that everybody who wants to learn about that business should check out at some point. So
I also like the Stone Cold Steve Austin Broken Skull sessions.
Yeah.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Austin 316.
I was wearing I can't believe nobody mentioned it. So last week I was wearing my Vegas 316 shirt. So what I thought was funny was like, if Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass, then Vegas 316 says I just lost my ass.
Yeah.
That's always a good one. So Andre Enrico asks, between the new Bond and Dune, which do you think will fail at the box office?
Sadly, probably Dune, just because like Blade Runner 2049 was so good, but it did not do well, and it was just such a beautiful looking movie. And I think what's the guy's name? I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Dennis or Denise Villeneuve?
Denise Villeneuve.
Denise Villeneuve. He makes beautiful looking movies, but they don't ever seem to do well at the box office for some reason. What do you think, Kadish?
I don't think either of them are going to fail at the box office. But I do think that the backlash against the new Bond will probably be much greater than anything against Dune. I think Dune's going to do okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think people have been looking forward to Dune for a long time now, and I agree. I don't really have a lot of interest in this Bond movie. I've never been a big Daniel Craig Bond guy anyway. I don't know why exactly, but I've found these newer Bond movies kind of I don't even know what the word for. I'm just not interested in them.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never liked the Daniel Craig era.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I'm on the losing end of this argument too. No, it's going to be controversial. I think he's my favorite one. I like these movies because they're the only Bond movies that connect. You know what I mean? Like all the other Bond movies are like almost like an anthology.
I've always found his Bond movies to be extremely boring. Even the good ones, I feel like drag a lot. And I just don't care.
Joker's funny.
Now, who do you guys think would be a good replacement for Craig as Bond?
Probably Superman.
Superman. Yeah, Henry
Henry
Cavill.
Cavill.
Henry Cavill would be a good Bond.
Yeah.
Other
What-
than that, I don't really know. I can't really think of anybody.
Well, what if you couldn't get Henry Cavill for Bond? Who do you think would be a good
I have
Bond?
no idea. I
Hold
really
on.
don't know.
No, this is a. Hold on.
I know Salty has numerous times said that Tom Hiddleston would be a good Bond.
No, I don't know. He'd be a good Bond villain. You know,
He would, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be a really
I
good
don't
Bond villain.
know. You ever watch The Night Manager? Night Manager is Tom Hiddleston as a spy, and it was pretty good. Maybe Dave Batista as James Bond.
No. John
No.
Cena. John
John
Cena.
Cena.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
no.
not British.
No, yeah,
Remember, Bond has to be played by a Brit. I think that's like
yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Like Cavill, like it brings it back to like the suave with the swagger and the brown hair and like I think Cavill would be great for.
I think
Bond.
a Samurai Berserker in the chat kind of nailed this one. Tom Hiddleston would be a good 60s era James Bond.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that would be
well,
cool.
he would be a very different type of Bond. It wouldn't be so action.
Ooh, Cumberbatch. That could be interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Joker
I
just
don't
mentioned
know.
that.
I don't know about Cumberbatch.
Yeah. Idris Elba.
Cumberbatch.
I think Idris Elba would be a cool pick, but you know, I'm sorry, I'm not into race swapping characters or gender swapping. James Bond is a white British dude to me, and if they change that, then it's not James Bond. I'm sorry. If
Right?
that
They
makes
could
me-
do a.
if that makes me a bad person, I
No,
don't
I agree.
care.
I've always
So-
said this. Like, they should make new characters instead of like,
Yeah.
well, all these characters, were made back in the day, so they're all white men. I'm like, all right, cool. So like, if you want like Jane Bond, put her in the same universe
Yeah.
as James Bond.
Well, here's the thing.
You know.
They've been making all these chick wick movies, trying to get on that bandwagon with new characters and everything, and I don't think they're hitting really well. I mean, they're not. Most
Kate
of them
was
aren't
so
terrible.
good, though.
Kate was great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Kate was great, but is it going to sell out theaters for 4 weeks straight? No.
Did it even
It's
go to
not.
the theater? I think it was straight to Netflix.
Well,
right?
if it was normal world, Kate would have about probably a 2-week theater run, and then it would be out. So, I feel like we're getting subjected to a lot of mediocre made for TV movies that probably wouldn't last the whole long time in
Ooh.
the theater.
That's
So-
interesting. Samurai Berserker says Tom Hardy. What do you guys think about for Bond?
We already talked about that. Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom
Tom Hardy.
Hardy.
I was on Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Hardy would be interesting. I think. I'm not going to say yay or nay, but it
Is
would
he
be-
British? I don't like. He's not British,
I
is he?
thought it's Aussie, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Australian, right?
Yeah,
I guess
he's
it's
Australian.
Close enough.
No, it's not.
Close enough. Australia.
Uh,
Well, yeah,
English,
isn't that where the
same-
Great Britain
same-
sent all
is
their
that the-
criminals?
Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Samurai Berserkers from Australia, so you might have something to say about that. China,
now.
China, Japan. That's my brother. I don't care what he says.
Okay.
the actor who played Rob Stark has been kind of talked
can see
about as
that.
being like the
Yeah.
next James Bond. He's British.
Oh, he would be good too. Yeah, he's in the Eternals, right?
Yeah, he's in the Eternals, and
He's the one that breaks the table.
Yeah, and he was also in this movie this miniseries called The Bodyguard in Great Britain, where he basically played like an SAS agent, and people really
Yeah,
liked him.
I could see him. I could see him being Bond. Yeah, and he's young too. That would be good because these other guys we're talking about, they're older.
Yeah,
Guess we'll find out in a couple of years.
The redheaded guy from Outlander has also been kind of put.
The redheaded guy.
Yeah, Jamie, Susnick.
Do we
I got to
wanna-
watch
do-
Outlander. I've had a lot of people recommend that. I
do
still
we
haven't seen
want-
it.
Do we want a ginger playing Bond? I don't.
Well, I don't
know
think he's a
about
natural ginger. I don't think that. I think he dyed his hair for that role.
that. I know who I want to see play James Bond. I want to see the big redheaded barbarian dude from Game of Thrones. He'd be a good Bond. Yes, that'd be awesome. What's his name? Oh God, I can't think.
I know he does all those. He does those hotel commercials too, which
Yeah.
is funny.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So I guess Tom Hardy is very British, according to our Aussie friend Samurai Berserker. So there you go. There you have it.
Is he
Very
British?
British. I think so.
I don't know. He was freaking hilarious in Venom. Let There Be Carnage, though. That was
It doesn't really matter because British guys they can do it. Why is it that British people can have an awesome English American accent, but when we try to do a British accent, we all suck at it?
I don't think
acting.
I don't think we suck.
I think we kind of suck. I can always tell when
It depends on the
doing a
actor.
British accent.
Depends on the actor completely.
Yeah. Rupert Grint from Harry Potter? No, he's not going to be James Bond. That'd be terrible.
Yeah, Sam Hugan or Huhan. He's the guy who plays Jamie in Outlander. He would probably be a good Bond.
Okay.
The ladies would love him.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach.
I like Carl Urban, but I think he'd probably be a better villain than Bond. Like I think he'd be a better Bond villain than James Bond himself.
I agree.
I don't know.
I'm hearing Kadish's computer. Crickety, 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 crickety.
Yeah, my fan. It's been like that since I bought it. It's terrible. Imagine hearing that sound and not knowing where it's coming from. That was like me for like a whole year. I was like, "Where's that sound coming from?"
So if any of our viewers out there have like a computer repair shop and would like to sponsor the podcast, we take computer work, I guess.
I
don't know. I think Stallone was the better Judge Dredd.
Totally disagree. No, I agree with Joker. Carl Urban's was the best Dredd.
Yeah, no, Carl Urban was a great Judge.
Hands down, not even.
I am the law. I didn't like Stallone. I was like
that Dredd movie was incredible.
Him and Rob Schneider together on screen. Come on.
I am the law.
Yeah, that was. I watched the first 20 minutes of that movie a couple weeks ago, laying in bed late at night, and it was just I'm like, Kadish is going to make me watch this for the show someday. I know it. It's going to be awful. So
we're going to do Stallone week.
Stallone week. Yeah. That would be fun.
You have to watch his worst movies like Rhinestone Cowboy, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Yeah, you got to get the shit out of the way first, and then you can treat yourself.
Well, that would be a much more entertaining show than if we did, all the Rambo movies.
Right. So. Yeah.
Yes, Stallone.
We do Demolition Man, we do Judge Dredd, and some other ridiculous.
Well, now I like Demolition Man. That's way up there on my list of fun movies.
Oh yeah, Demolition Man's great.
Yeah, but is it Snipes that makes it good, or is it Stallone?
I think it's the combination of the two. Honestly.
I think it's Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, yeah.
First
no, dude, that was when she was pretty fine back then.
Oh yeah,
yeah, man, I liked her.
She's still pretty fine.
Still pretty fine. I agree. Demolition Man is still a really good movie. Yeah.
Taco Bell.
Everybody eats a Taco Bell.
Fanciest restaurant.
Oh shit! Now I'm hungry. Why'd you have to mention that?
Yeah.
So I was at the hockey game last night, and Stacy, who's in the chat, was actually with me and pointed this out. Apparently, I split my pants on the way to the game, and when I went through the metal detector, you walk through like this or whatever. So my hoodie came up, and you could see I'd torn, it was really long. It was can't see my hands. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's it was really long. It was a big tear just right by the pocket. I had no idea how it happened. So I had to wear my hoodie around my waist to cover up this tear in the back of my pants. Yeah, haha. But thank you for pointing that out, Stacey, because if you hadn't, I would have been walking around with my boxers hanging out of my ass the whole game.
Oh, wow.
Tango and Cash is awesome. That's actually one of my favorite movies.
I do like Tango and Cash. That's a good one.
We reviewed it for Retro Rewatch long time ago.
Oh, was that the one with
Kurt Russell and Stallone?
Yeah, Jack Palance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not good.
What are you talking about, Vader? You have such bad taste in movies.
No, I disagree.
Well, of course you would, but you're wrong.
It's no, you're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
You're wrong.
All right, guys. So we've been going for a little over an hour now. I think it's about time to hang up the towel. Is there anything you guys want to say to the chat and anyone else before we head out for this Saturday?
Yeah. I appreciate everybody coming into the chat. Instead of super chats, I'd like everybody to go to saltynerdclub.com, sign up there so we can work on getting Matt Vader to do a wrestling show with me, because until he is able to quit his job, we can't do it. And I know like all you guys are chatting about the wrestling. So we gotta get that saltynerdclub.com Patreon stuff going.
Let's do it.
I think your options start at what, like $5 or something. That's nothing, per month. Come on, guys. So
cup of coffee.
There you go. So that's all I'd like to say. Thanks to Stacy and a couple of my friends for joining us today. That was cool. Joker, I'm looking forward to meeting you on Monday. So let's stick to that. And that's it for the Dork Night.
All right. Yeah.
Vader, anything you want to say?
I just want to say thanks again to everybody coming out with the chat. Pretty low key today, and that's completely fine. Like Danny said, we have a lot of options for you guys to come out and help support the show, not just Patreon, but even if you just doing things like hitting the thumbs up button and signing up for our email list that Matt puts out, or just subbing to our social medias.
Share, subscribe.
It all helps.
Hit the notification bell thingy, all that stuff.
We're just trying to grow. So
and he's a blue check mark, dude.
And he's a blue check mark. That's right. It's important. So.
We got to get you that hat, dude. Like, when is that happening? That needs to be that Jude was talking about.
Yeah. So that's all I got to say. So have a good day.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And just remember, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, and that is 1 p.m. Eastern, I believe, we're going to be on here doing the Holmgang. And we really appreciate everyone who came into the chat and participated in the conversation. We like getting that feedback and having you guys kind of control the conversation topics. So thank you so much. And as always, stay salty, my friend.